Hey, we is live.
Of course we are. What it do? Snackers or snackets. It's your boy Gage. Got the homie jokes with me.
Yo, yo.
And the homies been in the building.
Yes, sir.
This is Loaded Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today,
Today,
we will be discussing the New Mutants. We will absolutely be discussing the legacy left behind by Chadwick Boseman. And maybe, just maybe, there'll be a curveball.
just maybe there'll
We
be
Just
a
maybe.
curveball.
Listen, man. Look, no
Might be
promises,
something up the
okay?
sleeve.
I don't have any sleeves, dog. Like I don't got no sleeves.
He's just gonna
No.
pull it out
It's
of
already
nowhere. Just comes out of
Yeah.
nowhere. That's the whole point. Comes out of nowhere.
I mean, I already told you there might be one. What more could you ask? You know what I mean? What are you looking?
I guess he just wants you to
You
straight
want
up
me to
tell
tell
him
you
what the
ahead of
curveball.
time?
That's what it sounds like. He just wants you to tell him ahead of time. Then it's not a curveball. It's just
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Then where's the fun in that?
I don't even. I'm good on waiting. Like I'm used to it. Like, all right, here comes the curveball. What's it gonna be? Let's go with
It's
it.
just a thing. It don't even matter no more. Is that where
Yeah,
you at?
yeah.
Okay.
we got J.
Okay.
Robert Deans and Alfonso in the chat right now.
Well, see.
And what's
What's
happening?
up, gentlemen? What's happening, gentlemen? What is the word? Okay, listen. Here's what I want to do. Before we start digging too deep into any of today's topics,
hmm
I want to just hit some surface level things. So, first and foremost, surface surface level. What have you guys seen in regards to thoughts about New Mutant? Just want to know. Just looking for the surface level. Just share away. Why don't?
I've heard that it's bad. I've heard that people have enjoyed it. So that's pretty much what I've heard. Those two things: it's bad, or people going to actually see it and like they had a good time, they enjoyed it. So
Straight up
Yeah.
divisive.
yeah,
Exact same thing. It was either like everyone, the people loved it, or they just absolutely hated it. Some people even said that it was the worst X-Men movie ever. So there was like no in between. It was just it was good or it was garbage.
All right, now I see Jay Roberts is saying my audio is low. Y'all can hear me okay?
Uh,
I can hear you.
sound fine over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you probably did something, jokes.
I didn't do
You know what I
anything.
mean? You
But
were tinkering.
remember,
You
if
were
I'd have messed
tinkering.
with your audio, I'd have messed with Sins at the same time. So, huh?
Why would I remember that? What do you mean remember that? Why did you say that? Like we had this discussion and like you threatened me like I like I
Because you know
like
your
I will
both your audio
I
is
will
on the
lower
same
your
track.
audio.
It was just one finger. I could
we've
have.
had this conversation before, Gage. Damn it, you don't listen.
I am. Ain't just gonna call me out with a powerful lie like that. Like, you know, if I would have messed with your audio. No, I don't know, dog. What are you talking? Yeah, like he gave me he gave me the parent finger. You know, what are you doing? You know, boy,
We
Hey,
gotta get
it
up
could
here.
it could have been the point in the full government. It could have been the point in the full government, but we didn't go that far.
hey, Slim. Hey, listen, my full
Oh,
government ain't that bad, bro. I don't, you know.
but he said
Okay.
he's coming in about 40% louder than Gage's. He said it could be the
I
mic.
mean,
Yeah,
nah. I'm going with jokes did something.
Oh, of course, it's jokes. But
I
yeah, me
mean,
and Sins,
you were
Hold
filming with
on,
you
Slim.
thought you had having issues all day. It's possible you could have done something.
but we
What's the
sound.
last thing he said right before we went live? When he like, hey, doesn't Gage's thing
Yeah.
seem smoother
I
than
did.
normal?
I did say
And then he
that.
goes, I messed with something. It's cool. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. It's cool as long as you guys can hear me and can make out what I'm saying. And every time I make fun of jokes, you got it. We're good. You know what I'm saying? Everything's
Pretty much.
gravy. Everything is gravy. So, New Mutants. Okay, none of us have seen New Mutants. Let's make that a
Nope,
fact.
haven't.
Mhm.
And so before we start digging into the things that I have seen, I want to start with the surface level issues with the fact that none of us have seen New Mutant. Why is this in the theater? Why is this in the theater?
Like I
Why
said,
isn't it? Now, hold on. Let me preface this. Bill and Ted Face the Music
Mm-hmm.
in theaters and on demand.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like an easy fix. That seems like an easy win. Why are we doing this? Enlighten me, gentlemen. Somebody tell me what is the reasoning? What is the method to the madness behind holding this film hostage? and then only like, it's literally like having a hostage and then letting them go but keeping them on a leash. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only going to let you go so far. Like, what is the purpose behind this?
I don't know. I don't know if they really thought that people were gonna get up, flock to the movie theater to see New Mutants. Like, I'm sorry, I kind of lost interest after how many years delayed in between it? Not even factoring
Like
COVID.
two. Like
So,
two.
I mean,
Like
I want to
2
see
solid
it obviously just to have my own opinion for it. But it's like that drive of when we saw the trailers, it's like this could be kind of interesting and you want to see it, but I don't know why it should have just gone both. If anything, both ways. For the folks that comfortable enough getting up to go out to the theater to want to see it, by all means. But then for the people that just want to chill at home and watch it, it should have been both ways.
I think, like I said, what was it last week? I think since Disney and Marvel didn't create the movie, they acquired it with the acquisition. I think they're using it as a test piece and just throwing it in the theater and just seeing if people actually go flock to the theaters and they can recoup money like that. I think they're using it as a test to see if people will go, so they decide what they want to do going forward with these other properties. Do they want to Mulan it, or do they want to Bill and Ted it, perhaps, or just,
But the
go straight to
difference,
theater? I think these are the test.
but the difference of a New Mutants to a Mulan, like to me, that just doesn't compare. Like,
Correct.
I mean, that's why I think they're
Correct.
using it as a throwaway, as a test run. Like, let's just throw it out there and see if people will go out there, see if the numbers show that people are going out there to go see it. So we know we can start putting these films back in theater and recoup our money.
So here's the thing. I'm beginning to wonder whether or not there is anything for Disney to recoup at all with this. Because this movie was shot, filmed, paid for by Fox prior to
Mm-hmm.
Disney's acquisition.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling like if you look in the entire grand scheme of what that acquisition looked like, this is but a small dot. You know what I mean? In terms of like what this film is worth, as far as like what it cost them, like I don't feel like they were at the negotiating table going, oh, with that New Mutants, I know y'all want it. I mean, sure, you
Oh,
want it,
no. Yeah.
but you're getting everything back anyway. And I'm feeling like they actually felt like they could throw it away, but that there were issues with it that made them feel like we do need to do, like they had to pay for some of the reshoots,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, or something, bringing some people back in, but like, or something contractually already existed that forced them to do a theatrical release that wasn't worth it for them to cough up the money it would cost to have to pay out to an AMC or whoever to get the ability to do both, to go on demand. Like they might be contractually obligated to not allow this to hit on demand or hit streaming services until like that normal 3 months
Mm-hmm.
after it's released to theaters. And it probably wasn't worth whatever negotiations they would have had to cook up and pay forward to be able to do it that way. That's the only reason why I can think you would do this, because the only thing that would make this movie even semi-important would be if it is in fact tied directly to the MCU in some manner. And even if they went back and they reshot something to tie
Just
it
to
into
do it.
something,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
easy to take that out and just be like, you know what? Put it in the theater, we don't care. You know what I mean? Or because everything else is shoved back, right? And everything is thrown off. Like, just the fact alone that Marvel's Avengers game technically came out today. I mean, it's early release, you know, if you got the deluxe edition or whatever.
Right.
Technically came out today. But even having played through the beta, like, there is some significance lost in that opening scene when Taskmaster shows up and has to specifically fight Black Widow, and she's the one who calls his name out when he shows up, like Taskmaster, like, oh, this mother, like, you know what I mean, like, and he specifically calls out, like, Romanoff, I was hoping you would be the one I would get to fight. Like, there is absolutely some level of significance lost by the fact that that movie is not already out. Nobody has seen it. Taskmaster holds zero significance for the majority of the buying public. They could care less. And I'm going to tell you what, even as a person who knows who Taskmaster was before they decided he was going to be in Black Widow, which when it was like Taskmaster's in Black Widow, I was like, why do they keep pulling these corny villains out of the sky, right? And then I thought to myself, oh yeah, in Feige we trust. Taskmaster has some ability, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like we didn't play through the Taskmaster missions in Spider-Man PS4 and deal with them already. Like, there has been an effort to make Taskmaster a thing for like 2 years now. You know what I'm saying? But the significance of it completely diminished by the fact that that movie's not out. So, if in fact they were going to try to tie something using the New Mutants to, you know, maybe at this point we were gonna have, you know, Wanda, Vision, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Maybe we would have some, you know what I mean, like maybe there would be something there. That significance is gone, and so maybe they're just like, whatever, it doesn't even matter anymore. Let's just put it out because we need to put it out and do something. And if you're gonna put something out that really wasn't yours to begin with, that you don't really seem to care about that much, you might as well let it be, like you said, Sin. Just let that joint be the COVID test bed. Let's just go test that. Yeah. Like, nobody's gonna blame Disney if a bunch of people catch COVID because they went to see New Mutants in the theater. Nobody's gonna be like, like, that's just not.
I think it's the perfect film to test with right now. It wasn't ours to begin with. It's something that people supposedly want to see. Let's throw it out there and see if people will go. Collect the data and then go back to the drawing board and make our decisions going forward.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's think about it. I see what you're saying, Jay Roberts, that New Mutants failing would justify the decision for Mulan. I sort of disagree with that, but only because, unlike both Black Widow and Mulan, there's no merchandise related to the New Mutants anywhere, right? Black Widow toys have been out since like April.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mulan toys have been on the shelves for a month and a half, something like that. Like, there's a significance to, again, having those deals where you can't call that stuff back or tell these toy makers, well, now, wait.
Hold up, hold your horses.
So hold on to those toys. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing is not a thing for New Mutants, which, again, speaks to that relationship that Marvel/Disney already had with Fox and who the X-Men are, because we don't really care about mutants. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not pushing that. We're not doing toys. We're not trying. You know, and a matter of fact, this is gonna be a scary joint. We're not even trying to get kids in here. We're not trying to sell toys or backpacks or anything like that. Like, if you think about it, it will be the perfect timing. It's back to school. You know what I mean? Let's get the book bags out. Let's get the T-shirts and all that out or whatever. Like, nobody's clamoring for magic stuff. Nobody cares about any of the New Mutants. Nobody's looking for a cannonball, even a cannonball ice cream at the ice cream truck. Like, it's not a thing. So, like, I just feel like they're like, all right, well, for real, we can throw it away because we already not really worried about what's happening with mutants. Like again,
Mhm.
even with Marvel's Avengers as a game, it's still about Inhumans.
Inhumans,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's Terrigen and Terrigen Mist and Inhumans, and we're not dealing with mutants and all that kind of stuff. So like, all right, I guess that's not what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And they're ready to have the Avengers fight the Phoenix Force and possibly the X-Men all over again right now.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing again? Are we using this to try to spotlight mutants and bring them back or whatever? New Mutants, I feel like had such potential. And I, like the two of you, have seen people say this is the worst X-Men movie ever made, period. I have also seen, from trusted sources, people say, nah, man, it's cool. It's like a 7. You know what I mean? Like, it's good.
Mhm.
It overdoes some things. It underdoes some other things. You know, for what it is, it's not real scary, but, you know, it's a slightly different take. It's nice to see something a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect that. I don't respect the theaters enough to go see it.
No.
I'm not even gonna try.
No.
If it was streaming, I'd have already seen it.
Yeah, same here.
Yep. Yep.
I would have paid them. I'd have paid them Mulan money. I'd have paid them $30 to see it.
Yeah.
I think this is a misstep.
Yeah.
Something's afoot. The conspiracy theorist in me says something's afoot. Clan. a Ninja Turtle, if you will.
Something
Yeah, and I don't. Huh?
Plus, there's something don't seem right. That's all.
Yeah, and you're right. Something's not right. Something's not right. But, you know, I have not seen. What I haven't seen are any numbers about how it is doing in the theater. I haven't seen anything about totals,
Mhm.
box office draw, any of that.
I did see one. It said it was like 7 million. I don't know if that was just. Yeah, it wasn't.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I forgot. Hold on. That may have been that article that I had shared with the group. Let me see if it was in there. Because I definitely read one
I
where
don't
they
know.
where they threw them out. I'll take a look right quick. Let's see.
I'm gonna be the one to say I don't even remember you sharing an article with the group about New Mutants, but there's been a lot going on this week, so you know, forgive me. I do want to take a moment
Mhm.
to talk about how Bob McLeod,
Yeah.
the creator of the New Mutants, is not happy with
No,
this
sir.
film.
No, sir, not at all.
And, you know, look, man, this is not the first, and I am positive it won't be the last feeling of whitewashing,
Oh, nah.
changing of
No.
characters. Here's the thing that's even currently more important than that to me.
According to Dean's Jokes, it was 7 million Thursday night.
Yeah, that looks like that's the expectation. It looks like just over.
That's the expectation. Is
That was
7
that
million?
looks like that was the expectation, but it looks like the film earned from preview screenings, which I'm guessing was probably just Thursday night. They only made 750K just from that. But it looks like projected over the whole weekend. It looks like they were for Friday through Sunday. They were expecting between 7 to 13. That's kind of that's a big number difference between just that preview night.
I mean, it is, but here's what's tricky about that. As you go into this coming weekend,
Mm-hmm.
being that it's a holiday weekend,
True.
right? You could see those numbers go up. You also could see many people be like, why would I go to the theater when I can stay home and watch Mulan?
That
This
too.
weekend,
Yep.
Multiple
starting
times.
this Friday. Instead of instead of going
instead of
to
worry
see
about
New
COVID.
Mutants, right? The conspiracy theorist says, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, We're gonna put mutants to bed forever, right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever it is that they have decided. Because for real, Inhumans is not doing well. Like, in terms of, like, Inhumans failed miserably. Like, that's easily the biggest failure of the MCU. Period.
Oh, yeah.
Is Inhumans.
Yeah.
Period. Its only significance really being Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Which is over now.
Mm-hmm.
So it remains to be seen what they do with that. Listen to me. If you don't do anything else right, change the characters, switch their names around, change their hairstyles, colors, skin tone, you got to spell the creator's name correctly in the
That
credits.
is just typing on a keyboard.
I didn't even hear.
Like,
They typed it wrong. It was wrong in the credits?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
they spelled my
It's
man's
wrong in the
name
credits.
wrong. Oh, he was hot. Should have seen my man's
Yes.
Twitter feed.
How do
He
you
was
do that?
Slim. He was like, that is like that forever. Like, you can't change it. Which, not really true. You could change
when
it.
Yeah, they ain't going to. Maybe for the release, the digital release, not ever. But the one that's in the theater, that one's gonna stay there.
Yikes, bro.
That's terrible.
Yikes,
Damn.
bruh. That is so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
the right
heard
name you should definitely get right.
I've never heard that
Like
actually
the
happen.
creator of the IP.
I mean, look. I'm sure it's happened before. It probably just has happened to someone a little less significant than the original creator. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm positive that there's a Best Boy Grip somewhere whose name
I was
was
about,
wrong
I was about to
in
say,
the credits.
Best Boy
I'm
1
pretty
or
sure
Best
the
Boy
credit
2.
table staff might have had a misspelling somewhere.
Yeah,
The assistant to
for real,
somebody on.
might have been somebody listed as a Best Boy Grip who looked at the credits like, I ain't no Best Boy Grip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a Best Boy. I ain't no Best Boy Grip. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, I'm sure.
No,
I'ma choke myself.
They told me I was an assistant. Nah, you Best Boy.
Nah, Slim.
Yeah, these are some
You a-
names that go in the credits that you have to get correct. You know what I mean? Like actors' names, director, producer, the creator. Like just certain names, like just get it right. Like,
And spell check? I
Hey,
mean,
it's
Slim,
not that hard.
They,
Yeah, it's
they
not
got
that hard.
Maisie right. Her name ain't simple. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He's upset about the casting for Sunspot because he should be Brazilian. Like, there's a lot. I mean, however, like, this is not a thing that like we could not have seen just from the previews from 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, when I think back to and people should probably be more upset, but this movie's not doing well enough
Right.
for anybody to see it and know the difference.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
remember when
saying?
they first showed the trailer when it first released, I didn't realize that was even Sunspot. Until later, and it was like
Yeah,
Sunspot's in the
Sunspot in the
movie. I was
movie.
like, wait a minute, is that's what that's supposed to be?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's wrong.
Tilt your head a little bit and like, hold up.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm I had high hopes for this film. I think it probably is actually an okay film. Obviously, I'm going to reserve judgment till I actually get to see it.
Exactly.
I had hopes for it, but, a lot of those hopes were hinging on the idea that they might use this as a catalyst to get the mutant back and
To
put
bring
them
him
into the
in,
MCU.
Nope.
if in fact they're doing that in any way, it will probably be something that gets mentioned in passing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean, about the kids who were stuck at the, you know what I mean, or something like that. Like it won't be,
Yeah, yeah. It's not gonna
you
be
know,
a big thing or something like that.
no major
Yeah,
significance or something like that. Be a
right,
newspaper clipping that shows up in somebody's joint that
True.
says
right.
something
Mute,
about
mute.
kids being trapped at, you know, or whatever. Like,
Hmm.
Oh
you
man.
know, it, I mean, I'm not, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean, in the way that they're handling it. But again, I have to imagine that there's something contractual that's keeping them from being able to just put this on streaming services. That it was like, well, we have to put it out. It's got to go to theaters. You know what I mean? And we're not
Mhm.
going to pay AMC. I can imagine AMC asking something ridiculous
Whew, yeah, just like pretty much
to get
keeping it hostage.
yeah, to allow them to put it. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. You know what I mean? So they probably just like, you know what?
Yeah,
Go
cause
ahead,
yeah,
let
just
AMC have it. See what they make. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Go ahead, let AMC see if they get some ticket sales. See if somebody buys some popcorn. Let's see what
right.
happens. You know what I mean? It's a Fox joint anyway. Whatever,
How long
bro.
how long y'all think before it ends up on Disney Plus?
I
Mm,
think January.
that's about
I
right.
think I think December, January. I think that 3 months roll is at least what it's going to be, and I think that that's probably depends on the significance of whatever else they end up doing. Because right now they're still talking about Black Widow like it's not coming to Disney
Yeah,
Plus first, like it's going to the theater. So I think it depends on what they decide to do with that and how it affects everything else. Like it won't hurt them to put it on Disney Plus now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be that big of a deal if they did it. But
mhm.
you know, I'm not January. How I'm thinking somewhere like that.
Okay, okay.
I mean, you're right,
Shit,
Ty. They should have released it a,
absolutely.
a, a long time ago. They should have
Abs-
released it 2 years ago.
They hadn't just been done with it.
Yeah,
They were
They should have
expecting
just put it
some.
out.
They were expecting some good things apparently back then, but
I mean, listen, Slim. I can guarantee you that the returns they would have got on this film in the opening weekend 2 years ago, compared to what they're getting right now, like there has
absolutely.
been no Marvel movie released at all this year.
I know that's weird. Just
Very.
2020, just yeah, like nothing
We've
so
been getting
far.
we've been getting like 2 to 3 films a
Yeah,
year back to back
Awkward.
for at least 5 or 6 years. You know what I'm saying? To have nothing is like even riding on the strength of the fact that like people just don't know. Like, oh, this isn't MCU. Like they know mutants or whatever and tie that to Marvel. Just the fact that superhero movies were such a thing. If they'd have dropped this 2 years ago, what they would have recouped by comparison, especially considering that some of the actors and actresses that were in this movie were also at like the height
High at that
yeah,
point
of
in
their
time. Yep.
popularity during that time, like a Maisie
yes.
Williams and stuff like that.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
they
She'd have brought in money. Yeah, coming fresh off of Game of Thrones, they'd have got that money then, just off the strength of that
exactly,
alone.
exactly. I mean, Fox would have got that money. You know what I mean? Somebody would have been something. But you know what you gonna do? You right, Ellis? Hey, like, yo, oh, you ain't about to put this joint on demand. You gonna pay us straight up? F you pay me. That's really where they are, man. Um, yeah, I'm not. You know, that's out the window. I guess that's a wrap. So we ain't gonna have to worry about it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, I do. Here's what I want to do. I wanna let's pivot. Pivot.
All right.
You know what that's from?
Song to my
Y'all
tongue. I
watch
can't think of
Friends.
it.
It's Friends.
Oh,
Doesn't
I
matter.
know. I didn't. That was lying. I definitely don't know that. 'Cause I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Pivot. You
I
never
was
seen
in
an
the,
episode of Friends where they trying to get the couch up the stairs and they got to go around
no.
the corner on it? Hey, bro, that
When I
is
say I've
hilarious.
never seen an episode of Friends, I've never seen an episode of Friends.
All right, well, fix your life.
I've seen clips, but no,
That's saying. That's what I was gonna say.
I've seen little
Previews.
clips, yeah,
Hey,
but
no.
never seen like an episode.
Hey, Slim, that joint fire, bro. You slipping. You slipping. I know you got plenty of anime to watch. I'm not trying to tell you not to watch anime.
He's
I'm
like throw
simply
an episode
telling
in
you-
here and there in between.
I'm trying to tell you, Friends is fire, bro. like straight up fire.
I, and
I
look,
hope
and
they have a Snyder cut hitting somewhere.
I trust your I trust your judgment, so I'll leave it at that. And one day, maybe when I'm sick of something, just throw it on and just.
Why you gotta be sick? Why you gotta be sick to do?
Because when I'm sick, I don't want to read subtitles, so I'll put on something that like I don't gotta be all serious with and watch.
You
Like,
don't want to pay attention to it.
I ain't even about to try to get into the logistics of like I'm too sick to read subtitles right now. We're not getting into this. We're not doing this, man. I can't.
Oh,
Ooh. Y'all, nah, you right. Oh, no. Friends has no diversity, but they all good friends. They got a coffee shop. He got Gunther. And that's not, that's about as diverse as it gets. I know you don't know. Low is.
I just said, okay, like, all right. Like,
hey, listen. Ty, are you talking about a Snyder cut of the New Mutants?
yeah,
Bruh?
I think that's what.
I
Because,
hope he doesn't.
listen, what y'all haven't gotten is me going off about Zack Snyder and how much garbage that dude and his work are, bruh. I'm not a fan of that dude's work at all. I'm not saying the Snyder cut of Justice League isn't going to be good. I am saying it's not going to be as good as anything in the MCU.
I think at this point, we just want to be better than what we saw. I think that's all we want at this point. Just be better than what we saw.
Hey, listen. How can it not be?
Knows what to avoid at this point. Like, ooh, no,
How?
we ain't doing none of that.
How can it not be?
We're going to find out when it comes out.
Was hot. Garbage truck fire, bruh. Like, the most garbage.
Nah.
Friends is a wet match. No fire at all. You tripping. Friends hilarious. The cut. Listen, the cut's gonna be better. There's no doubt about that. But having to watch that joint in like 4 sittings because they're not just gonna give it to you at once. Like, come on, like you're up to something. Stop playing around with me.
Don't bring that over 4 months.
300 was not fire. 300 was okay. Hey, Thor 2 was bad. Thor 2 is the worst MCU film. Easy.
Yes.
Still better than Justice League was.
Yeah.
Bruh. Still better than Justice League was. It's coherent. You know what I'm saying?
Thor 2 is relevant.
Ether.
That's what I was gonna say.
It
gave us an Infinity Stone, like, so it's relevant.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it has moments within it that actually matter. And for real, I feel like they're actually going to push the significance of Thor 2 because in the next Thor, Jay ain't gonna get the hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jay back. So, my man, Snyder is absolute garbage. 100%. I'm with it. 100%.
No, it was not, Ellis. Stop lying.
I agree with Ellis.
Thor 2 was not better than Iron Man 3.
I'm not. I'm not a fan. Like, Iron Man 3 is okay, but for whatever, like.
Nah, Slim. Watch Iron Man 3 again, dog. Because Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 has... that joint basically has a video game boss fight at the end, which is the worst boss fight ever. Dog, that joint is the worst. There was potential, but come on, man. Whiplash, get out of here, man. That joint, no sir.
That'd have been better than cut out all his parts, I think.
The Guardians films might be worse than Thor 2. See,
Whoa.
This is why...
Okay.
You
Hey,
are
Robert
smoking
Dickey.
crack.
This is the same guy that said Apocalypse War was garbage, sir.
Wow.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
Hey, Slim. We talking about, the significance of Iron Man 3. Listen, you can throw all that Mandarin garbage out the window. That doesn't even matter. Everything else that happened in that movie is so significant.
That blew me.
So significant. There are singular moments in Iron Man 3 that outdo anything that happened in Thor 2. Just him putting the armor on Pepper during the explosion outdoes everything that happened in Thor 2. I still think Thor 2 was decent. You know what I'm saying? But we'll just, we're just going, yeah. Ooh. Hey, listen, man. We not. I look. I'm gonna tell you what. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what just happened.
What?
Let me tell you.
We got a joint for next month Patreon.
let me tell you. Let me tell you how the chat just started their own curveball. Like just like, like what?
Oh, I love the chat.
Oh man. Hey, listen, Chris Lightning. Listen, you think Guardians is weak? That's cool. You also have to hate Snyder's work, man. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Apocalypse don't
the main
equal
fake bad guy in Iron Man 3 was classic. All right. I mean,
Mandarin.
Come on, and he coming back.
Yeah, get his justice.
Shang-Chi. They about to, you know what I mean? Like, there's some significance there that will happen. Look, let's do this.
I like Snyder's movies, personally.
Hey, listen. Sin.
I know you hate him, and I enjoy his movies.
Sin.
What?
It might, you know what? It might be because his movies look like anime. Maybe that's what it is. Because them joints all fake backgrounds, Listen, let me stop this. What I want to talk about is Chadwick Boseman. That's what I want to do. I want to talk about Chadwick Boseman. Okay? Listen, don't start with me, Ellis. We already did. Listen, Ellis, my DMs was on fire today because of that joint I posted about Batman having the exact same power set as Kim Possible.
That was
leave it alone. Let's just leave it at that. Listen. Here's the thing. I have seen so many people posting about Chadwick Boseman and the significance of him not just as Black Panther, but as an actor in Hollywood for all of the different roles that he played, because so many of those roles were important black
figures,
historical figures. To a certain extent, that aside, I want to kind of put that aside. I really do want to talk about the significance of Black Panther here. Because while Thurgood, 42, like all of those movies are not only great movies with great portrayals by him, Black Panther did something none of those films did.
No.
That film brought people out in droves. That film ignited an energy in black people, not just black, in people of color.
Yes.
And people who weren't people of color. In some cases for the right reasons, and in some cases for the wrong. Like, it actually hadn't dawned on me. Like, we've had this discussion multiple times about how when Black Panther came out, there were like people who showed up to watch this movie as if they thought that this was a movie about the Black Panther Party.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the Black Panther movement. And it hadn't really dawned on me the significance of the fact that with Chadwick Boseman playing this character, because of all of the other
roles,
historical black figures he had played, that it actually makes sense that people would think that they would see that he's playing this character and hear the name and hear about what it is and hear the rhetoric behind not just an all-black cast or an almost all-black cast, but like all the people behind the scenes and what Ryan Coogler was doing and all of that kind of stuff, and it bringing people out in droves. Yeah,
people were thinking Wakanda was a real place.
Oh, on facts. On facts.
Yeah.
Exactly. When Expedia has to make a statement,
you can't
say,
get
listen,
there.
Y'all, that's not we don't have any deals for Wakanda, bro.
There's no flights going to Wakanda.
I mean,
it's not a real place.
Disney should have jumped in and said, you know what? Let us put something in Disney World. We're going to fly all these people down here to Disney World to Wakanda Land or something.
Oh my God. If they would have put a Disney World in Africa 2 years ago and put a Wakanda in that joint.
Hey, look, let me tell you how the waiting list to get in that would be ridiculous.
What would it be now?
Oh, we still be trying to get there right now.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I hear that. The world does need a Wakanda. You know what? The funny thing about that is, even in the movie, Wakanda was a hidden place. Like, it was a hidden place that was real. You know what I'm saying? It was a place that was hidden from the rest of the world. Nobody could find it. Couldn't see it on the map. Can't see it on a satellite. And people just came out the theater like, oh, yeah, let's go there.
And we're like, well,
How didn't you hit him even in the movie? They told you it was hidden.
Can't
What
get
are you
there.
talking about, bro?
like it's hidden. You can't get to it.
That's
It's
really not.
no.
I think that Chadwick Boseman, not just in Black Panther, but truthfully, starting in Civil War,
Mm-hmm.
actually lent, and maybe from pulling from other roles that he played, he just lent us such a sense of reality
Yeah.
to the role of a prince who lost a father, is thrust into having to take over a kingdom. Like the origin story of Black Panther that happens in the movie that's not his. The show of strength, the speed, ability, agility. I mean, that real first scene where you see him and Cap running
Running Infinity War.
with like
Oh, you mean through
Civil War.
through the tunnel in Civil
through
War?
the tunnels
Yeah.
with the motorcycles. You probably, I mean, technically, yes, you're right, Chris Lightning. It would be south of Niger. Yeah.
It's a Black John Wick.
Black John Wick in that story. I mean, maybe a little bit. I really think that, like, that sense of royalty, that sense of presence, just really did something for Black people and for people of color that just kind of hadn't been done, and for whatever reason doesn't get done in the same way when you do a historical piece.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of capturing an audience of all sexes, of all ages, of really seeing the significance of being able to see yourself in a hero, and what that really meant, and what it opened the world to. If you look behind me, you now see I have all this artwork that is all done by people I know, friends of mine. It's all Black Panther stuff that I've been collecting, and I'm going to tell you that I mean, I've been reading comic books since I was 12 or 13 years old, and I always found Black Panther corny. I didn't really like Black Panther until like 2010 when he showed up on Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Avengers. And they really like showed the significance of like who he was, what he could do, how powerful he was. Really started digging into like Wakanda and so forth, because the way it was presented personally to me in comic books prior to that actually didn't mesh with me personally. But it's actually the way I have always felt about a lot of Black characters and the way that they're portrayed, even when they're written by Black creators, because I have felt like a lot of times they felt like they had to lean into specific tropes, or they had to be too much like another superhero. So like, while a lot of people enjoy the significance of a character like Icon, I never did, because Icon is just Black Superman, and I already don't bang with Superman. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's like I would have much rather seen a character that was created with much more ingenuity and more creativity than just let's basically mimic the same powers that we see another superhero have. You know what I mean, or whatever. And the idea that of where Black Panther draws his strength from, his ability, his power from, even that there are still some unanswered questions within the MCU. You know what I mean? We left some question marks about how you maintain that power when the fruit that you have to eat to get it doesn't exist anymore. but technology, right? And what's in the suit
Right.
and what that does for you and so forth. I just think that there are a lot of people who I honestly believe would never watch Thurgood or a 42 or watch James Brown Get Up if they hadn't seen Boseman in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
That movie drove people to watch his other work if they had not seen him. There were people who go, oh yeah, I remember
know
that dude. He was in that, you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah. Well, any actor that
But
you
then the
see
other
that you
thing.
like, you know what I mean? You'll watch something and go, oh my
And
God,
then
they
you
really
go back
did
and
dope.
do.
And then you go back and notice, oh, they was in this. They were in that too. And you start going
Yeah.
through and start watching the catalog and watching their work. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like he had insignificant role. It's not like he was a side character.
Oh, no.
No, not by all means.
He was
Nah.
leading roles. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then the significance of doing all of what he did, all while being sick already.
That's amazing. That takes a level of fortitude that is just,
And not
it's
just
just unheard of.
and not just, you know, regular roles. Like with Black Panther, I mean, that became physically demanding. I mean,
Sure.
42 as well, definitely playing an actual sport.
Mhm.
But between the two of them, just the physical demand, and of course he put on the muscle for the Black Panther role. So going through doing whatever he had to do to add that extra bit of muscle on, and then like
And you also got to think, like, on the set with probably 20 hours a day for each one of these films, you know what I'm saying? Hardly getting any sleep. All the work that just goes into it while battling cancer is just, and not putting it out there, not saying nothing to nobody. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Me and my fam, we're going to deal with this. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to put in this work and leave my mark on this world.
Look, no matter how you slice it, and try not to take this. Relax, Ellis. I'm just giving you the heads up. There is something to be said for winning Oscars, being given high accolades for being an actor, for doing what you do. There is something to be said for. There's an argument to be had about whether or not Heath Ledger gets the same accolades he gets if he hadn't passed with what he did in Dark Knight. His role as the Joker. Not that it diminishes what he did when he did it. But like, even as an up-and-coming actor, I don't ever really recall people talking about Heath Ledger in the way that they talked about him after he passed away, and then seeing what he did as the Joker.
No,
So,
you're right. You're absolutely right on that. Yeah.
The idea of like not letting anyone know, not having any of the accolades that you have received be accolades that you received that might be tainted by the fact that, man, he did all that while he was sick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's give them an Oscar. Let's give them whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And honestly, there's
Completely
a certain
remove
level
that
of
sympathy,
selflessness.
sympathy vote.
Exactly. There's a certain level of selflessness that allows that to be taken away, so that no one can then turn around and say, yeah, they had an all-black cast and they da-da-da, but they really only got that because they felt bad for Chadwick Boseman because he was sick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is literally taking one on the chin for the team in the most take one for the team way you possibly can.
Yes.
Literally. It is not allowing the work of yourself and any of the hard work done by all of the rest of those people to end up diminished because somebody can say, oh, they only did it because, or they only won it because, or they only got it because, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can go back and you can look at it all and you can say that it was all done on the actual merit of the talent and strength of all of the people who worked to make it happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're not diminishing Ryan Coogler and what he accomplished and what he did during that. And you have to think in the back of your head, maybe Ryan Coogler knew because he's the director. Maybe
Right.
he knew, right?
Right.
But the other thing that I really feel like is important to talk about and to note as it pertains to Chadwick, as it pertains to us, not just as a people, as black men, as it pertains to us as Loading Snacks, as friends, as family, as it pertains to the people in the chat, who some are people who we've known for years, for decades, who we consider friends and or family. There is something so significant about Chadwick Boseman's tight-knit circle. Nobody leaked this information.
Nobody. Kept
Yes.
it to the chest.
Yes.
Trust me when I say there was a significant amount of money to be made by allowing this information to get out.
Uh-huh.
There's no two ways about it.
No, he was blessed with a great team, a great circle around him.
You
Facts.
are so right. And some of that means you talked to the right people. You spoke to the right. But it also is the same thing for his doctors. Right? Because that information is information that it has to trade hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At some point, you
Doctors,
have to be leaving a
nurses.
set
Yeah.
to do chemo.
You had
what I
to
mean?
step
Like-
away, or you had to do something where like you were gone for a smaller period of time. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I mean, listen, somebody in his circle, his publicist, his agent, somebody had to know, all right, listen, what we're going to do is, when we go to negotiate your contract, we're going to negotiate that you can't be on set before this time. You have to have breaks after this many hours. You have to have whatever. And really just treat it like, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. gets it, but you're not going to give it to the black man? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like, however you got
However you got to
to
roll it. However you got to float it to get it.
to make it work, where it just seems like Hollywood rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
written and put into the paperwork so that nobody even really questions it
True.
or thinks about it.
Because it's in that contract.
You know what I
and it's-
mean?
And it's just flat out, you
Yeah.
know what? He needs to take 2 hours between 12 and 2 to go take care of whatever. They don't even have to get into details with it. It's just
Exactly.
12 and 2
Right?
is his time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It could have been something simple. You know what I mean? They could have told him it was something else. You know what I mean? He has to have
He got
insulin.
class.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it could have been anything else. Maybe they put, but somebody had to seriously work that. You know what I mean? And make it happen. When you
Yeah.
see, even people that we know, like we know people who were on set with Chadwick on Black Panther, and they are completely mystified, like had no idea.
No idea.
Right? Which is something that speaks to your work ethic,
Mm-hmm.
your you know what I mean, your fortitude.
Yeah.
I think there's so much more significant in him as a person than just the fact that he was black or that he played these significant roles or whatever. Just as a person.
Like a human being. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think any and every person can and should look up to. But for all of the other roles that he played, the significance will forever be tied to Black Panther.
Yes.
Because no other role he played will get the kind of love that will continue to be shown whenever Comic-Cons decide to come back.
Yes.
Right?
Like you said, it brought everybody out in droves, dressed in the African garb to the nines.
The Sheikies,
Yeah.
the whole nine.
Like,
Yeah.
couldn't keep that clothes, couldn't keep those articles of clothing on the shelves anywhere.
No. I mean, it wasn't just African Americans or again POC, people who are here from Africa who are actually like Nigerians, like whoever, like being able to feeling like, yeah, I'm gonna come out in all my stuff. You know what I mean? I'm gonna wear
Right.
my, you know what I mean? And like feel proud and be proud when you have people walking around. Wakanda Forever was everywhere. The
Yes.
symbol was
Mhm.
everywhere. It just, it broke ground in ways that none of the other films he did. And
Mm-hmm.
as great as and historical as the other roles he played are, I don't think any of them are as significant as Black Panther.
No, they did. I can agree with that.
I can too.
I don't think any of them are actually more important because you could redo Thurgood. You can have any number of people come back and play
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Robinson. People have played Jackie
Mhm.
Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was a Jackie Robinson in the opening scene of Lovecraft Country.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Jackie
Mhm.
Robinson is a person. Was a like that's a real historical
Right.
figure. It's totally you can read about it in a book, you can whatever, but like the stories that are what Black Panther is. You know what I mean? Like that resurgence of like, yo, they should use him to bring mutants in and bring Storm back.
Oh,
and
they
should
was
get
doing
married
the
and do all
whole.
the stuff that-
He was like he was the catalyst.
He ain't that good, bruh. Even he's not bringing mutants back, bruh. Like,
Oh, if
you
he'd
know
have
what I
bought
mean?
mutants, if he'd have bought mutants
It was
back,
good, but it wasn't that good. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Alfonso. It was a movement.
Absolutely.
You know, I again, and this wasn't. I wasn't attempting to diminish the work that Heath Ledger did
Mhm.
prior to. I'm not even trying to like. I think Heath Ledger was a very solid actor. I just think that there's the option that was left open to question his award and how people view that role certainly is overshadowed in some ways by the fact that he's no longer here
Mhm.
and the way that he passed away right as that was a thing that was happening.
Yep. True, Anthony. Yeah. The
Yeah.
Black Panther brought out people that never seen the MCU movie before.
Oh, on facts.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
And that was the
Went back and watched everything. Like, wait, this
Because
ain't
of
the
that.
first one? This ain't the first one he's in?
oh, and
Right.
just
Yeah.
off the fact that Black Panther, and I love the fact how it wasn't necessarily an origin story, but it had some of those origin elements. But the thing was, it stood to itself, and you really didn't get anything evolved in the MCU until the after credit scene, fully with Bucky showing up. But for
Yeah.
the most, and that's what got a lot of people. Well, what was that at the end of the thing? It was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, people who didn't know anything.
you need to go
Yeah.
back and you need to watch this. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to do that, now you got to go back and you actually got to watch this. And then
Like
you just
this
keep.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
send
mean-
people down that rabbit hole.
That movie as a whole, the strength and power, the empowerment of Shuri. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a young black woman, princess,
Mm-hmm.
that people were like, yo, you need to make sure your Disney princess stop playing around.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
An extremely
Um,
likable character.
smartest, like
What?
she can rival that of Tony Stark.
colonizer,
Oh,
bro.
Th-
An intellect that rivals Tony Stark's.
throw her,
Yep.
throw
You know
him
what I
to-
mean? Young, just you know, they're Lupita Nyong'o's character, same thing. You know what I mean? Denai Guerrero, like, who really could have been viewed as just more like a side character, but like what she did for the strength of black
Mhm.
women and the
Yes.
Adora Milaje and like who they are,
Yes.
like that movie touched on so many points. There are so many pieces of how powerful and impactful that movie was that I feel like would have very easily been diminished if people had known he was sick. You know what I mean? When that movie was being filmed, when that was happening.
But instead,
So
kept it to itself and let the movie stand on its own merits.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. You know? And that's just, it's so much more significant, I think, than people realize, and have been able to really give credit to. And so I'm extremely thankful and proud to have had him play the role. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember
100%.
personally being like, I mean, I guess he could play Black Panther. I don't. whatever. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
wasn't like when they announced that he was playing. It was kind of like,
I kind of like I didn't really like. It
all
was
right.
actually
You
someone
know
else
what
was
I'm
like, "Yeah,
saying?
ain't that the dude that played Jackie Robinson?" You know, when and then I was
Yeah.
like, "You know what? That is him." And
Yeah.
outside of that, I really didn't know him from anything at that point in time. But 42, so
Yeah, like I knew he played like historically like black figures in a lot of his movies and stuff like that. So he got cast. I was like, okay, it fits with what he does.
mm-hmm.
But just like all the castings, I hold my judgment until I see it. Cool.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right. I'll just wait it out. I mean, look,
yeah,
even that movie, even the significance of a Killmonger and just how thought provoking, how divisive it was. You know, whether or not Killmonger's right, that kind of thing.
I know.
Stuff we've discussed before, but like,
yeah.
There was points where you were just like, you could side with him in the heart, like, I get it, I feel you right now, like I understand where you're coming from, like it's like,
yeah. I mean, it was a little bit ahead of its time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Black Panther could have been a movie that came out last year,
Now,
right now.
yeah, all this, yeah,
Yeah. You know, that feeling, those things that Killmonger was really bringing out in people. You know what I mean? And really making people feel. It was a very real thing. Yeah, I just yeah, man, listen, seriously, rest in power, Chadwick Boseman.
100%.
Because what he did is more significant than the roles he played. Honestly, like keeping his illness a secret is bigger than just being someone in Hollywood who doesn't want doesn't want people to know you're sick because you don't want people in your business or whatever it is. There's a lot more significance to that that I just think people aren't quite getting. So again, it's truly like
having the
rest in
people
power.
around you that support that
solid
decision,
circle.
and yep, that support your
Solid
decision, and keep it close, keep it quiet. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You know, and you know, I do want to say this. I think it's important to have that tight knit circle, but I also do think it's important to talk about things that you have going on. Like a lot of times as black men, we feel like we're not allowed to show weakness or to be,
so you want to,
you know what I mean, to be outward about things that are going on mentally and crying and just whatever that is. So like, I don't want it to be misconstrued that like him having a tight knit circle and people not leaking that information is the same thing as like, well, yeah, don't say anything, always show strength, always be.
right.
It is okay again to be vulnerable and to have, but he chose to do that with the people who were most important, and they were respectful enough to keep that secret
Right.
for him. And I think that's another thing that within our own community also has to be a thing, that a lot of times we get put into this box where we don't speak up about things because people will say, well, if you talk about it, then people are going to see you as weak and you can't show signs of weakness or whatever. But a lot of times, man, look, I don't know about the way we come up is like, don't let your business get out there. Don't talk about your business. You don't want your business in the streets. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we won't share the things that we're going through or things that are happening to us because you do have a fear of people actually talking about it and it getting out in the streets and then it getting away and rumors and whatever else beginning to spread and that kind of stuff becoming a problem. So I don't want it to be misconstrued when I'm saying it's important to have a tight-knit circle. It is. It is important to have people that you trust, that you feel like you can actually honestly talk to.
Right.
And that you shouldn't be afraid to do that. You need to have a circle that you can feel vulnerable with.
Yeah.
That you can allow those things to be out in front of people with. So, please, by all means, I'm not telling you to keep all of whatever you got going on a secret from people at all. Just, hopefully have a tight-knit circle that you can do that with. So
people that you trust, that you can talk to. Yeah. That you can confide in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there is some significance to that, Tony. with Paul George coming out and just being like, I'm going through some anxiety. I got some things going on, and to say that in public, to all of the reporters in the room, you know what I mean, and that turning into the entire topic for like the next 2 or 3 days, you know what I mean, but not just that he had some anxiety and so forth, but that he was man enough and confident enough to actually say it and to talk about it, and having other people come out and be like, yeah, I'm glad that he said that, you know what I mean, I'm glad that he put that out there on the table and didn't allow excuses of whatever, I'm just having an off night, or whatever. Like, nah, I'm having some anxiety, you know what I mean, there's some things going on, like right now, as a black man who's expected to go out and perform you know what I mean, a sport in front of people on a regular basis, with all of the things that are going on in this world right now, sure, you can have some anxiety, you know what I mean, and some other things that are going on, and it is and should be completely understandable, and it isn't just because of all of what's going on. I mean, they just are things that are real. So, I mean, I feel like while I do think it's important to pay tribute to Chadwick and his work and what he did, I do think there's a little bit more of an importance or a significance to highlight just what he was doing as a person. So I don't know if you saw, but there was a story about how, at one point Chadwick was on All My Children.
Mm-hmm.
This was like his first acting job, but he was only on the show for like a week because he was hired to play a character that Susan Lucci, probably the most famous soap opera actress of all time, that her and her spouse took in this gang member. You know what I mean? And he didn't like or wasn't comfortable with the stereotypes that he was being asked to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so he battled with whether or not he should speak up about it. And you can go back. There was actually an interview that was done during the Black Panther run, as they were leading up to they were on the promotional tour for Black Panther.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And
him talking about certain roles that he would, kind of vet out what it was, the ones that he would pick for it, because, he didn't want to necessarily fall into certain categories, but, he wanted to be comfortable enough with what it was that he was playing, because he wanted to really mean something to him at the same time. He didn't want it to kind of be like a jelly type of role or something like that.
Right. What happened was he and Michael B. Jordan were doing this interview together, and he was telling the story about what happened on All My Children, and he was battling with whether or not he should say something to them. Like, it's my first acting job. Should I tell them, like, I don't really feel comfortable with the way y'all want me to do this, and wanted to make some changes and stuff like that or whatever? And he decided to say something to him about it. And he did. And they fired him. And then they hired Michael B. Jordan to play that role. Michael B. Jordan played that role for like 3 years on All My Children. That was him coming off of The Wire.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which, he got The Wire when he was like 16. So this is Michael B. Jordan going into what is technically his second big, acting job, off the strength of Chadwick Boseman having made this statement saying like, yeah, this isn't right. They fired him, hired Michael B. Jordan to play it. So again, he only was on the show for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Which technically is like one episode. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then Michael B. Jordan took over. But they're having this conversation in this interview, and Michael B. Jordan is hearing this story for the very first time. He had no idea that he was fired from that role and why he was fired. And the changes that they made to the character were made because of the things that Chadwick brought up. So the role that Michael B. Jordan played
ended up being technically what it was.
Exactly the role that Chadwick Boseman was asked to play.
Right.
And so he's literally in the interview, you can see Michael B. Jordan like, hold on, wait, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, he didn't know. You know what I mean? So then to see them again, kind of like on this promotional tour for Black Panther, like, there are just things that I think he stood for and that he did as a person, as a black man, as someone who's standing up, that were more significant than just the fact that he played historical figures in roles. And that he did have that strength in playing Black Panther and giving people, all kinds of people, somebody to look up to, kids, the feeling of like, I want to learn the code. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's do tech. Let's do, you know what I mean? Like, we can do that kind of stuff. So yeah, man. Again,
Rest in power.
rest in power, Chadwick.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So sad to see you go. So sad to see you lose that battle. And
You definitely will be missed.
100.
Yeah.
you see pictures of him in like St. Jude's talking to kids
Talking
with
to
cancer.
kids with about it, and it's like,
And he got cancer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You almost have to wonder whether or not if he had won that battle, if anybody would have ever known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless he, years later or afterwards decided to go out and say to people like, hey, listen, man,
Right.
like I'm young and I survived it, but y'all should go get checked. Like you should go,
Right.
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, but we may not have ever known that was a thing if he hadn't passed away. So, one more time, in the air, pour a little out for Chadwick.
Absolutely.
Sad to see you go, man, but next week we'll probably discuss a little bit about what we think they're going to do with Black Panther 2. And how
Yeah.
important it will be for Shuri to just become the Black Panther.
agreed.
And for them to like lay him to rest properly. I really think that's the direction that should and probably will go. So listen, on that note, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for joining in the conversation. Greatly appreciate you guys and gals. Sin, if you could run down those top tier Patreon supporters, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. A special shout out to Anthony Cunningham, Ellis Mbe, Susan Dortch, Tyrone
Got that
Clark,
last
Got the
name
last
in
name this
there,
time.
Got that last name in there, bro.
and Victoria Ford. See, I didn't know how to pronounce this. I didn't want to say it wrong. But as you
Oh, I
all told
figured
me
that's what
last
it was.
week, so now I got it. Mbe
Okay.
in the building. I got it.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
all very, very much. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. It means a lot to us. Thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, listen, man, I know a lot of y'all hear us talk a lot about, and y'all see J. Robert Deans in the comments. Y'all should go support that dude on Patreon too. Like
Yeah.
he's quite the funny gentleman and has some dope work that y'all should definitely check out. So like if you go and you check us out, like if you're not already following us on Patreon, if you're not supporting us there, by all means, please go there. Please check him out. Please support that. Chris Lightning has been in the chat, and Chris Lightning is a little bit of a fireball. However,
A little bit of a fireball.
My God, my
he's
brother.
got
salute.
his own blog too. So just look into Chris Lightning. Y'all might want to check out some of what he has to say, because he speaks the truth. It's a little fiery sometimes, but he speaks the truth.
Love
So I want to make sure y'all do that. I do want to let y'all know that, like, we ran into a couple snafus with the shirts. We had some trouble with getting some of the dye and stuff like that, but the shirts are in process. You might have seen in my stories I posted pictures of the shirts getting dried out or whatever. They are still in process. We are working on it. We're trying to get everything out to everybody. I do also want to tell you that we are going to be doing, like this last round of shirts was really about us, just kind of trying to get people, because people are always asking how do they get some merch or whatever. We are going to be doing breast cancer shirts again this year. When we do those shirts, they are always shirts that all of the proceeds go
Yes.
to the charity.
Charity this for.
And this time around, we have decided rather than do what we have been doing, which is just a shirt that says the word loading snacks versus breast cancer or whatever, which is cool, but like we want to keep the theme. But we partner with an artist by the name of Michael Bracco, goes by Spaghetti Kiss. Please go follow Spaghetti Kiss across Facebook and Instagram and so forth. He does some really crazy kind of like,
Yeah.
he's got this
Awesome
way of
stuff.
doing artwork that's just, so please check that out. He's a really great artist. He's worked up some ideas for us, so we're gonna do some shirts for breast cancer awareness that will have that. Hopefully we'll be able to at least show you what they'll look like in the next couple of weeks, so people can start placing orders if they want to do that, so we can get them to people so they can wear them during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will absolutely obviously be following that up with Extra Life. So
Yeah.
24 hours of straight streaming and gaming, all for the kids, to benefit Children's Miracle Network hospitals
Absolutely.
You know, in a time like this, especially with what's going on in COVID, with the way that they are limiting people's ability to visit people in the hospital and stuff like that, like any kind of money that we can get that can help to go to kids who are stuck in a hospital and can't go anywhere else, man, it's so significant. So, you know, this year is going to be even more important and significant, I think, than years in the past where things were, we're going to say, a little bit more regular. Who said something about my... Oh, you need the jacket hookup, Ty? I got you. I'll hit you up. Listen, I commissioned our good friend Zeefa, Zeefa. She is an incredible artist. And she did this painted dragon on the back of a jacket. And I was like, I need me one of those. She was like, yeah. So I rapped with her. She hooked me up. Now my mother trying to take my jacket. My oldest trying to take my jacket. Man, listen.
You knew that was coming.
Listen, Zeefa hit me on Instagram and was like, hey, yeah, your daughter just hit me up on Instagram talking about she finna snatch your jacket. Hold up, Slim. So I text Zayna like, I heard you plotting on me, Slim.
Like,
She gonna text me back talking about, I mean, I might have said something.
Ooh!
Oh, all right.
Ooh!
All right.
Put that jacket in the
I see what it
lockbox.
is. Yeah, because she probably can fit it. You know, like, the arms might be a little long for her, but she probably can
Oh,
fit
she'll
the
just pull the
jacket.
sleeves up right quick.
Yeah, so I will tell you now that on the strength of what she did for me and what she had already, her commissions are already booked through the end of September. And
How
partially
dare
in
you.
October. And I've already gotten back on the list 2 more times. So, yeah, and look, if you go to my stories or whatever, again, you can click on it. I posted a picture. I tagged her in it, so you can go there. Just make sure you follow her. Show some love there. Listen, greatly appreciate all of you. Really do. We couldn't keep doing this without y'all, man. Y'all give us reasons to keep going.
100%.
We probably gonna bop off and play a little Avengers, aren't we, gentlemen?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's possible.
We have some other things to do. We got some snack bites. We got a sneak
We
attack
do.
and hit behind the scenes, so we can get those up. I'm glad y'all really like that jacket, man. Listen, I just told her. I said, listen, I need a scorpion with scarab wings. She was like, ooh, I like that. I'll do that.
Said, say no more.
I was like, all right, bet. I'll let you do it. You know what I mean?
Say
So
less.
she's open. She's taking commissions. She's
That
taking
joint is
ideas
fire
and
though.
all that
It
kind of
is.
stuff.
Like no, straight up,
It's
that joint was
crazy,
fire.
like-
I was like, damn. I was like, I kind of want one, but he got one. So now I don't
You
want
don't
one.
want
And
that
that's
one.
like,
Yeah, but it would be your
like
own
that.
joint.
I know,
You
but
know- you know.
like that's where I'm at with like. That joint, that joint
bringing
fire,
jean
though.
jackets
That
back,
joint
man.
came out. That joint came out really, really dope.
I'm super
Yeah.
happy with it, man. I was a little concerned. Like, am I gonna rock a jean jacket?
Yes,
Nah, yeah,
you
I'm
will.
gonna rock the jean jacket. Like,
No,
yeah.
it looks good. It looks good, brother. It looks good.
I appreciate that. I've been getting compliments in the street. You know it's a good
In
thing
the
when you
street.
get compliments in the street.
Hey, in the streets, that's right.
Yeah. In these streets, yeah, it's definitely a good thing if you're getting compliments in there. You know what I mean? All right, listen, we're gonna wrap it up. We out of here. Again, we greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all know the deal, man. Follow us across all social media. With that, we're out. Toodles and loos. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow? Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.